welcome to another Lawn Clippings video by lawnfawn. Today we are making really fun Thanksgiving Day place cards. We're going to be using Critters in the Sea, Hats Off to You for this really fun pilgrim's hat, and Sally's ABCs, which is a really great alphabet year-round but has this kind of funky fall-winter feel to it. Right here is some really gorgeous American Crafts fall paper from the Nightfall collection, and I die cut the side to put a decorative edge on the place card. And the way that I did it was by using one of these really pretty label dies. What I do is I just stick the paper through it so that I'm only cutting the end of the paper. This is perfect for place cards like this, or you could even do the edges of your cards to create really kind of cool custom edges. I like to use some washi tape, but you can also use masking tape, just some not so sticky tape to hold down the die because it doesn't really stay in place if you want to make sure it's centered on your piece of cardstock. And all you have to do is run it through your die cut machine like that and you'll get a really beautiful piece like this. So really fun to use in your cards and looks really custom. The idea for these place cards is that we're going to use critter sets, a critter for each family member. This would be a really fun activity for your children to do, is to pick out which critter is which family member. For me, I'm starting off with my grandmother's place card, and she was a marine biologist and had an octopus for a friend. So I just thought the octopus would be perfect for her. So right now we're just stamping out this cutie pie octopus here, and then we're also going to stamp out the pilgrim's hat from Hats Off to You, because of course he's a pilgrim octopus, right? So it's just really funny. So we just did some really quick coloring here, and this is a gold, one of those gold gel pens to create the buckle, which is really fun. And when I colored the octopus, I made him a little bit too bright. A really cool way to deal with this is to take a really light gray marker and go over your coloring with that gray marker. It will tone down the color and make it match your paper a little bit more. He's still a little bit brighter than the paper, but I kind of like it that way. So right here, I've got the octopus here on our cool little die cut label piece there. And I'm just using the octopus for my spacing because I'm going to use Sally's ABCs to spell out Maria, which is my grandmother's name. And so right there, I'm just kind of using that as a placement so I make sure that I stamp in the right place. We're using Versamark, which is a really sticky ink that's perfect for heat embossing to stamp out this place card here. And so just stamp that Versamark there and then add the clear embossing powder. For clear embossing powder, I like to keep it in one of these Ziploc Tupperware throwaway things because I think it's a lot easier to add on to projects this way, and I tend to spill it on myself less when I have it in one of these containers. So I really like doing that with the embossing powders I use a lot, like the clear one. So right now I'm just flicking the back just to get some of that excess off, and I'm just heating that embossing powder to get that beautiful shiny image. I also like to heat the paper from behind because it kind of warps it the other way and makes your paper straight at the end of it. If that kind of makes sense, you warp it one way and then warp it the other and you'll get a straight piece of paper. So right there you can see the Maria all shiny, and what we're going to do is add some distress ink to this white cardstock. And when we put the distress ink over the embossed name, the Maria name, that will resist the distress ink and this white will pop through really pretty. Right now we're adding some wild honey, and I'm going to add 3 different colors to try to match that place card. So I wanted to add some orange, so now I'm going over and just adding orange kind of around the edges just to kind of rest it up a little bit. And then the orange was still a little bit too bright after this, so I decided to take some tea dye, just some kind of brownish ink, and do it over it, kind of like we did with the gray marker, just to dull it down a little bit and make it look a little more rustic and fall. And then right now I'm just taking just a rag and going over the name Maria just to get the ink off of the embossed part. It'll come off right with just a rag or a paper towel. So right there we just adhered the label shape and coordinating with the other label shape with the pretty pattern paper. And now I'm just going ahead and gluing the fun pilgrim hat onto the octopus. And I kind of played around with it a little bit here. I was like, oh, should it be off to the side? Should it be on top of his head? But I thought it looked cutest off to the side, and I like the idea of the pilgrim hat kind of hanging off the place card area a little bit. So it just, that's one of the nice thing about using a glue like that is you do have some time to play with it. So when I'm not sure about my placement, I like to use liquid glue so that I know I can play around with where my, my cutout image is gonna go. And then I just used some foam adhesive to put the critter down because I thought it was fun to have, kind of a popped up thing off of the place card. I thought would be really cute at the dinner table. So right here, I was trying to decide what I was going to do. I wanted to add one more thing, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be a stamped image or what. And then I thought, well, what about some stitching lines? To me, stitching lines, they add so much warmth to a project, especially in fall and winter. So I just went around with a white gel pen and just followed that fun label shape. It also makes that label shape stand out too. But then I thought, you know what, let me try doing a leaf. And this leaf is from the Harvest Season stamp set. So I just went through and colored it real fast, and here is a fast forward of me attempting to decide where I'm going to put this leaf. And finally I realized that it would be so much cuter in the hat than just on the side of the place card. So I just snipped off the little stem there since I want it to look like it's coming out of the hat, and just used some liquid glue again so I could, kind of move it around a little bit to place it in the Octopus's pilgrim hat, which I never thought I would say that sentence. So that is this Thanksgiving place card. I hope you guys love this idea, and I'd love to hear what you decide which critters are your family members. Thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing day. Bye!